Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to Midlife Talkshop with Rhonda and Shannon.
Hi there.
Hi, everyone. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
I'm hanging in. I tell you, we're so happy to have you guys tuning in today. We have a special guest. Today on Midlife Talkshop, we are joined by one of the funniest women in comedy, comedian Karen Morgan. She's a nationally touring comedian known for her clean, relatable talk on midlife, motherhood, and everything in between. She's the star of multiple dry-bar comedy specials and has been featured on The Talk, and her latest album is streaming right now on SiriusXM. She's a former attorney turned comedian. Karen proves it's never too late to reinvent yourself, and she's here to help us laugh through midlife.
All right.
Welcome to the show, Karen.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
I hear that you're coming to see us in Richmond, Virginia on June 4th.
Yes, I will be at the Funny Bone on June the 4th, and it's a great club, and it's a cool town. I like coming to Richmond. It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to see you because Rhonda and I will both be there.
Yay.
We'll be there cheering you on. So you were so funny. I got the privilege of seeing you, I guess, a month ago, and I had tears coming out of my eyes. You had me laughing so hard.
Well, I'm glad it's therapy for us all every day.
It
Absolutely.
is. So you have a very interesting path. I can't wait to hear more about this, but you went from law to comedy and became a comedian later in life. You balanced motherhood and your career, and you're just taking a risk to pursue something creative, which I love later in life. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that and what finally pushed you to go from attorney to comedian.
Yeah.
That's not a typical path.
No.
It's not. Well, I always tell people there's a little bump in the middle that you forget. It is called having 3 kids in 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
And so the motherhood bump is what actually, it didn't push me to comedy. It just sort of enhanced the need to go out and do something for myself. I was home with 3 babies under 3 and, and needed, as we all do as parents, to give back to myself a little bit. And a friend of mine was having a workshop and said, do you want to do the stand-up workshop with me? I'm like, okay. Like, I literally would have gone out for photography classes. I would have done anything to get out of the house. So, but that's kind of what led me to comedy was that
that's
little,
neat.
yeah.
You had 3 children under the age of 3? Or
At
all of
home.
them? 3?
Yeah, it was
that's
nuts.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I
That's
think
a
by
lot.
the time I was actually able to figure out how to go to the thing, my youngest was 2. It took me 2 years to figure out how to get out of the house literally once a week because it was crazy those crazy years.
I can't even imagine that.
yeah.
So my question to you, were you ever funny as a child? Was this ever something you thought about doing, or it just appeared it?
No. No, I always people say, well, you're the class clown or whatever. And I'm not. I'm actually, I'm more of an introverted person than people realize when they meet me. Sometimes I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm boring in person because I'm an extroverted introvert, which means I am good on stage. I really enjoy comedy writing more than I do enjoy comedy performing.
Yeah.
Which is, I've been doing it for 20 years now. So I haven't been doing it that long because I like to be on stage. I really don't. I don't mind it.
It's interesting, though, because I was watching one of your specials last night on YouTube. And to me, you're a natural. I mean, which is hard to do. It's surprising how difficult comedy can be and how to make something look natural when you're on stage like that. For you to be able to do that is quite an art.
Oh, well, thank you. I do tell people it is harder than you think it would be when you start doing it. And it's a harder, it's an art form. It's a creative, subjective art form. So one thing I love about it is there's comedy for everybody. My comedy might not be for some people, it might be for others, and vice versa. There's
We
always.
were just talking too that we appreciate the clean, comedy. I mean, it's still
I
funny.
really appreciate that.
It's so funny still. You don't have to be so nasty,
Yeah, you don't. And again, there's an audience for the nastiness. There's an audience for the dirty stuff. I just tend to be more, I work clean. I do think sometimes it takes a little more effort and time to make sure you're writing something that is still very clever, but also clean.
Right.
And that comes with also years of experience. Again, I think starting at the age of 40, I mean, I'm now 61. So starting at the age of 40 was a benefit for that because but you know who you are. I knew who I was, and I've grown as a comic, but I didn't have to grow as a human being too much to know what my voice was all about.
Yeah.
And if you start comedy in your 20s and you don't know who you are yet, I think younger people tend to go. They think they might want to funny, maybe dirty to them, so they write what they want to see, which doesn't work for my demographic necessarily. So,
Right.
which is fine.
Right. So do you think that being a mom has made you funnier?
Probably not.
No?
Ask my kids. I think
Make the routine funnier.
yeah, people
content.
being a mom makes you better as a human. It makes you more patient. It makes you the biggest thing about being a mom is it makes you prioritize what's really important.
Right.
You've got X hours in a day. What do I really need to do and accomplish? And what is really an emergency? And I think as mothers, we tend to go, oh, that's, are you bleeding? You're fine. Kind of that kind of a thing. So I think motherhood makes you prioritize what's important. And that's the biggest gift.
We would both agree with that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Karen. What would you say to women in midlife who are feeling stuck? I love that you were able to reinvent yourself, after having your babies and find this brand new path apart from being a lawyer in your early years. So what would you say to those that are maybe interested or thinking about starting something new in their second half of life and might be afraid?
Well, here's the thing. Don't be afraid. No, my biggest thing, which I tell my kids this all the time, is no one cares. No one cares what you're doing. No, they're not thinking about you, as much as you're thinking about them. And if your biggest concern is to look foolish, look foolish. Who cares? No one really cares. And you've got to get out of your own way to do something and realize nobody's really caring. Go do whatever you want, whether it's a creative thing or whether you want to do a triathlon or whether you want to take a pottery course. No one is going, oh, she looks so stupid.
Right.
That's our initial sort of knee jerk reaction of I don't want to look stupid doing this new thing. And you just got to get out of your own way, because if you don't, you're just going to sit home all day and be boring. So
exactly. And life is just going to pass you by, and then you're going to regret it probably at the end of your years, I had done that or tried that.
Yeah, be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail. Sorry. Don't
Good advice.
Don't be. Do not say.
That's good advice.
Why do you think midlife women are relating so strongly to your comedy?
I think it's point of view. It's life experience and point of view. And I think, I definitely, my material resonates with midlife women because I am one. And so they're seeing my point of view as being their point of view as well. I do not resonate with 20 somethings or barely even 30 somethings at this point. And that's okay. There are other comics who have those audiences. They're welcome to them. I don't want somebody that comes to my shows that doesn't understand me talking about Sid and Marty Krofft. I don't want to have to explain that to you. And
I think one of the funniest bits that you did, I loved you talking about the baby boomers and the Gen Xers and the millennials.
The explanation of what generation is called what and what are the characteristics that go with them.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
What do you think it's the biggest laugh for women our age?
The biggest laugh?
Biggest laugh in the audience. What is?
I don't know that there's one that's more than others.
I like the story of riding backwards in station wagons and how just back then when we were kids, you didn't even forget about a seatbelt.
And nobody wore a seatbelt.
Backwards
Nobody
in the station wagon, or
making faces,
hanging out.
Where else? And I think the biggest laugh is whatever you connect with. Whatever audience member connects with their memory, because I think it's a lot of it is you're accessing core memories. Mm-hmm. And it's like a lot of times I'll do my show and I'll be talking about candy or whatever nostalgia bit I'm talking about. And people will come up to me after and say, I haven't thought about that in years. And we did that too. And which is the other magical thing to me about comedy is that connection where you've had a similar life experience and it's so similar that it sort of reactivates that core memory of how great that was at the time. So the biggest laugh is whatever you connect with the most.
Right. The pixie sticks and then how they got bigger because that little amount of sugar in there wasn't you had to go with the big huge pixie.
And your spit sealed the end of it so you couldn't do it.
There was a few things towards the end of stand-up routine that I watched. So it was just one after the other. Yes, I can relate, laughing. It was hysterical.
Yeah. And that's that connection. That's
Well,
why it's
true.
cool.
It's the connection with the audience because my friends were going, yes, I did that. Yes, I did that. And tears were coming down her eyes.
Yeah. And it's funny to talk about this. Like, I have two children. One is about to graduate from college, and then I have a freshman in high school. So, I have a 6.5 year age span. But when I'm talking to both of them about when I was your age, now I'm starting to sound like my grandmother more and more. But when I was your age, I had to walk to school 2 miles or whatever.
I know.
But it's true. It's like their world now is so different than what we grew up in. I was telling my son last night that the official internet, World Wide Web, was not even invented when I was in high school. It had not come about yet. I mean, it was there in the background, but you couldn't go online and do anything. You couldn't, he's taking driver's ed online. I'm like, nope, I had to go sit in a classroom for 2 hours every day.
Yeah.
And to get my license. So just that relation of all the absurd things that we did, but how we turned out okay,
And encyclopedias instead of that's how we had to do our papers. And I know and then the play date situation,
Oh my
like you said, we were told, to come home when the lights turn out. And anyway, it's true. So relatable. So what's something about aging that surprised you along the way?
Probably the older I get, the least amount of F's I give. And it's sort of inversely proportional. It really goes up. They go up together. And I think that surprised me a little bit about really, not that I don't have a filter anymore, but I don't have that sort of knee-jerk worrying about what other people think. I mean, I care less about other people's opinions the older that I get. That has been the biggest pleasant surprise.
Yes.
So let me ask you this, as you're starting out, I mean, when you were starting out, were you afraid? I would think it would be terrifying getting up there in front of an audience and, no laughs.
Rhonda has a little bit of experience because she was an actress for many years.
And I love comedy. I mean, my dream would have been on Saturday Night Live. I used to do skits actually in New York City with 3 guys, kind of like skit comedy, not stand up. And I love that kind of comedy too.
Yeah.
So, but for you, you're by yourself, you're standing up there. I mean, do people what do you do? How did you get through that part? Or did you not? Maybe you...
Again, starting at age 40 after being a mom. And also, you got to remember, I was a trial attorney before I started. So there's a comfort level there and a confidence level of being in front of a group that I've never really had a problem with. Okay. In terms of material, goes back to life experience, not really caring. I would work my material, knowing this is a work in progress. This may get a laugh, and that's how you write new material. You try new stuff. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes this piece that you wrote works better than the second half of the piece that you wrote. So the next time you get up, you just do the second half, or you change the words around. And this wordsmithing is, to me, the art of what I do. It's the art of writing comedy. So. I know that it's just words, and I'm not gonna catch on fire if something's not funny. And if it's not funny, I'll give something 2 or 3 tries, and then if by the 3rd try I'm still not getting what I want, I'm like, okay, do a new one. So it's not being afraid to. That goes back into not being afraid to fail. Don't be afraid that this ain't funny. Not everything you're gonna do is a home run. That's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you ever think, going back to how it was when we were kids versus now, did you ever think that you were going to have to make social media such a big part of it?
No, none of us did. Ew.
I mean, isn't it just like...
It's gross. It's disgusting.
Yeah, right. It's part of it. It's part of getting out there and having, getting exposed to people who would never know you otherwise.
Exactly. Well, it's a gift also as well as a curse because, again, as you said, they wouldn't know you otherwise. And I think that was sort of the beauty for me of COVID, of being stuck at home, was that I forced myself... All my shows were canceled. So I had plenty of time on my hands. So I forced myself to learn TikTok, to learn, Instagram, to learn how to make videos and to learn how to do stuff at home, and to edit. And, I learned podcasting. I've, had a podcast for a while. So I learned audio editing, all those things that you have to learn as part of a business. And I tell people, particularly new comics, when you are a comic, if you are a traveling working comic like I am, you are a comic. You are also a travel agent. you are also somewhat of an attorney reading your contracts if you don't have an attorney. You have to do your social media. You're your own social media manager. So you have to wear all these hats as a traveling touring comic, and I think that surprises people the most. I was able to jump into those without a problem, but it's because again, having been 40 when I started, those things weren't new to me. And I had had jobs before, even before law school, that I traveled and did my own travel arrangements and traveled without a GPS on my phone. I had, you'd have a paper map and have to get yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
So those
see.
kind of skills you have as a human from human life experience, they all go into being a comic, and you have to be able to do all of them. And if you have to farm it out to other people, I do my own social media mostly because I enjoy it. I wish I had a clone that she could just do social media and I could do all the other fun things, but I don't. So I deal with it. I have friends who have people that do it for them. They're successful with it that way. I just choose to do it myself just because by the time I told somebody what I wanted, I could have just done it myself. And that's a mom thing. And that's, how we are with that.
Did you ever think about acting? Did you ever think about trying your hat at that?
Nope.
No?
No, absolutely not. No, thank you.
How many shows a year are you, if you've got this new tour coming out, or it might be going on unsupervised and dehydrated?
Yeah, it's been going on. It will wind down at the end of this year. So
Okay.
yeah.
And how many shows per year would you say that you're doing with that?
I don't even know. I know that I've been home not much between January and now. I go in spurts. Like I'm traveling now, and then I'm going on a trip with my daughter, and then I take the summer off. I do try to stay in Maine for the summer.
That's nice.
And then I'll do some fall shows, and then 2027 I'm gonna start really ramping down my travel and stay home a little bit more.
We could do a quick fire fun
I
segment.
want to ask one question.
She's
I want to ask
asking-
one question. So, what has surprised you most about your success in this chapter of your life?
It's a good question because I don't know the answer right off the. Surprised me the most that I'd be doing it this long. Quite honestly, it's doing it when I started. I started out with my little workshop, and my teacher sent my tape. When you take a workshop, you do a graduation show where everyone's hilarious because your friends and family are there. Nobody sucks. And then, but I did well, and my teacher took my tape and sent it to Nick at Night Search for the Funniest Mom in America. And so that was the first thing I ever did. That there were 3 rounds, and I became one of the 7 finalists. And so, but I had no intention of that being a new career for me. I'm like, this is fun, cool, yay. I'm still doing it. That was 2005. I'm still doing it. So that's probably the biggest shock, is I'm still doing it.
Yes. Well, you must love it.
Yeah.
And you're good at it, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're ready for those.
Fire.
We're going to do these little quick fire questions.
We're going to call this the Karen Morgan Midlife Survival Kit.
Love it.
Are you ready?
You ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go, Karen. All right, so what's one thing every midlife woman needs?
Every midlife
Woman needs.
Hormone replacement.
Oh, yes. I will agree with that. I'm glad they took the black box warnings off.
I know. We took them off in February.
How about a trend that needs to disappear?
Oh, God.
We're going to end up giving you some content for your stand-up.
I'm trying to think. Gentle parenting.
Gentle parenting. Yeah. The snowflake syndrome, like your kid is a snowflake.
Okay, a menopause symptom that nobody talks about.
That nobody talks about.
Aren't we talking
We're talking about all of them. I don't know that I've got any that have not been brought up before, because we're all talking about all of them.
Hot flashes.
Hot flashes.
Yeah,
Right, and then you freeze the next minute. I don't know. Pulling his blankets back on.
One thing you no longer care about. Well, we kind of talked about
what
that.
other people think.
Yeah.
Okay, most underrated joy in midlife.
I always there's like little things that happen during the day, and I've been trying really hard to do this. That I'm having fun. Like right now, I'm looking out. It's actually sunny in my yard right now. And just knowing in my brain to appreciate that, just
Yeah.
even though it's a little thing, I try to take little things like that during the day. Like right now, it's sunny out, it's not snowing. This makes me happy. And it's a little tiny thing, but they do add up to your overall outlook of life. If you can just take those little things that you appreciate.
Yeah.
I agree with you that
Yeah.
100%.
And just, I mean, you're kind of talking about just the concept of being present in the moment and
Yeah.
appreciating what you have right there.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Me too.
How about a most embarrassing mom moment?
Embarrassing. I don't know. I've never really been embarrassed as a mom.
Have you
I've
ever
certainly
embarrassed
like-
another mom?
I'm embarrassed and not,
I like the bit about, the moms who have to bring the sliced oranges and all the perfect things in for the, yeah, I think I was that for a minute. I
Yeah,
wasn't that on my first kid, but I was that on my second kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Not
why
anything
I've
bad
not
news.
ever been an embarrassed mom. I'm like, no,
Good for
probably
you.
maybe, having to show up, having college graduations in your future or in
Yes.
present and future is, I'm going to be in the front row. I don't care how early I get there. I am the early person there. Just so, we made it here. I'm getting up early. Y'all, I can embarrass y'all, but I'm going to be in the front row kind of that kind of stuff.
Okay. I might have to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going this week.
I know.
I'm gonna
I
go
know.
front row.
Shannon's daughter's
You've inspired
graduating
me.
from Virginia Tech, so
Yeah.
it's
Go
going to be
Hokies.
amazing. Okay. Best marriage advice and the funniest marriage misunderstanding.
Best marriage advice: just don't sweat the small stuff. Pick your battles. It sounds trite, but it's really not. You can't
Right.
fight every battle. You will lose, or you will be very tired.
How long have you been married, Karen? You've been
30
married a long
years.
time. 30 years.
Yeah.
Hey,
Congratulations.
So,
Yeah.
And for that reason, we don't. And what was the other part of it?
Funniest marriage misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding. Oh, I think expecting when you put something on the bottom stair that they understand that means to take it up to
Take
the
it
top
up,
stair.
right. I
And
mean,
that's
it's
more
logical,
probably
isn't
more
it?
my kids, but you expect I do this. Our brain goes, oh, that just means I should take it up when I go.
Yep.
But
Yep.
you gotta. I had the best advice, and this was from actually my my pediatrician when I had my kids, and she was wonderful. She said, particularly with our first, when you give your husband directions on how to dress the baby, don't just say get the baby dressed. You have to say there is a blue suit in the top drawer. It has a sailboat on it. It has,
Yes.
there are some red socks that go with, like you have to give specific
Right.
directions.
Yes.
You can't
Step by
just, so I guess it's a general statement to say don't expect everybody to read your mind, even though that's what your mind would think would be logical, because their brains don't work that way.
They don't. Absolutely. They do not work that way.
Yeah.
How about one of the weirdest aging symptoms nobody warned you about?
Aging symptom.
Aging symptom. Let me think about that.
Yeah.
An aging symptom that no one warned you about? Just there's certain areas on your neck and
well,
skin
that-
that start
change.
like,
Yeah.
what is that?
No,
What is-
it's when you finally see it, you go, "Oh, it is happening."
Yeah.
There was that wonderful Nora Ephron book called "I Worry About My Neck,"
Uh-huh.
and it's the same kind of stuff. And I remember reading that when I was much younger, going, "Why does she care about her neck?" And now I know. This is when we're all starting to go, "Okay, well, this would,
And then you go, oh, I'm turning into my mother.
yeah,
You know?
we're all doing this."
We'll all get there.
Okay. All right. A 70s, 80s thing younger generations would never survive.
A 70s what?
Or 80s.
Oh,
Thing
That we went through as kids and survived that the
Yeah.
kids nowadays
would just
would
not survive.
would just fall.
I'll tell you what, that we actually, I went to a very small high school, and my classmate, we only had 24 in my graduating class. And I was home a couple weeks ago and having lunch with a friend of mine, and we were laughing so hard. And I don't know if y'all had this when you were growing up, but it was called SRA Readers
Yes.
with a box things with the cards, and each of the cards had so there was like a reading test, and there were different colors, and the more you advanced through the box, you got different color levels, and we were just laughing how hard there was. Like only one girl in our class got to purple, and we were all brown, and so we went on we couldn't remember the name of it. And I'm like, what was the name of that box with those colored cards? And then my friend goes on, we texted the group chat, and immediately everyone's going, SRA readers. Like, so stuff like that we had in a classroom, I think in the 70s, before any kind of technology at all, would probably be the biggest change.
Yeah.
I think your kids are a little spoiled rotten too. I think if they take a bus ride, like I'm thinking about the camp that our kids went to, a 2-day camp, and
they started it with a 2-day away camp with their grade.
Right. Because they're Shayna's youngest son and my daughter, they're in 9th grade, and they came back like, here, I'm thinking, oh, this is just a wonderful bonding experience. And they did was complain and how horrible it was. And I'm just like, they didn't have air conditioning, or it was hot on the bus, or who knows? I don't know. But I just think they have no clue. Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
Well, I tell you what we do at the end of each of our Midlife Talkshop segments is we try and provide our listeners with a golden nugget, as we call it. Mm-hmm. And what's one golden nugget that you want every midlife person listening today to remember? Mm-hmm. From Karen Morgan.
I think you need to remember, this also goes to mothers too, in particular, post Mother's Day, is take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
And then the second part of that is don't be afraid in that taking care of yourself to try something new.
Yeah.
Push your comfort level, push it. Again, what's the worst thing that can happen? It's not fun. And if it's not fun, pick another thing. You're not going to implode. Unless you're doing base jumping with no parachute. If that's what you chose, then good for you. But try something new and push your envelope, because you're only going to, it's more, as we age, we can make it more exciting, or we can make ourselves more boring. And I think don't be afraid to try the new things at any age.
Right. Yeah. Step out of the comfort zone. I love that. Yeah. I love that advice. It's so true.
As we like to say, midlife can be your best chapter yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it should be.
And absolutely. I wanted to say again, I want to remind all our listeners out there that you can be seen in Richmond, Virginia, and June 4th at the Funny Bone. Karen Morgan will be there, and check your website at KarenMorgan.com.
Yeah.
For other shows that will be coming up, and her specials. You're on Sirius XM, correct?
Yes, correct.
And you're on Instagram and YouTube and
all of the socials.
Yes.
And we'll make sure to put the links in our show notes and our posts.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And we just want to thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to come help us to laugh and to shake things off and not take life so seriously and just try something new. And what do you have to lose?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you for what y'all do, because it's really nice to have people highlighting, this part of our lives, which I do think can be and should be the best part.
Absolutely.
Yay. Thank you so much, Karen, and have a good trip. I think you're going out of the country here with your daughter.
I'm going to England. We're going to the cheese roll. Woo!
Oh, that's right. You said that. Tell me really quickly without it.
It is called the Cooper's Hill Cheese Roll. It is in Gloucester, England, and it's on May 25th. We're going to so look for me on the social media at the Cheese Roll.
Oh, right.
You're going to literally roll with some cheese?
I'm not. No. You have to look it up. They roll cheese down a hill, and people run down the hill after the cheese. And
it's a tradition, right? It's a big
600 years they've been having this thing.
600 years.
So all right. Jolly fun.
Yeah. You might get some comedy out of that.
Of course I will. There will be comedy happening.
Have a wonderful trip.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.
All right, bye, Karen.
Please follow Midlife Talkshop podcast on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Hit the like button, leave us a comment, and share with your friends.